Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today, I want to talk about the benefits of Michael, and today we're going to be talking about...
Today we'll be making one of my favorite soups.
Welcome to the DR96 Challenge.
I am Animated Mel, and I am your mental and wellness coach for
As always, perfection is not needed, but consistency.
We must first lovingly accept what is. You can't heal a body you hate.
Awesome. Hey, y'all. Happy Monday. How's it going? If you are in here, let me know if you could see and hear me. Hello. Hey. Yeah, so let me know and we'll get started on how to nourish our mind, body, and soul while dry fasting. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Set apart. Thanks, Christy. Okay, awesome. So let me know how you guys are doing. Hopefully, like more people will drop in to the chat. Hello. Awesome. So back to day one again of the second round of dry fasting. Let me know how you guys are feeling. This probably won't be like the longest of lessons, but just want to offer some, really how to nourish ourselves in different ways while we're dry fasting. So tips and things of that nature. So, when we think of dry fasting, or maybe when we didn't really understand all that it is and can be, it is often, no food, no water is often perceived as a state of deprivation. But when we think about really the sacred essence of dry fasting, it is really a return to source, okay? A purification process, I'm going to call it, that really clears the noise of the external and really opens the portal of, divine nourishment from within. So in this lesson, I'm going to talk about, how we can nourish our entire being, mind, body, and soul without physical consumption, using more energetic rituals, mindset practices, emotional regulation, and more spiritual alignment. So drop your questions and revelations or, things that resonate with you, in the chat so I can get to make sure we're staying aligned, throughout this lesson. So if you're here right now and you're present and if you're in a position to just, put your hand over your heart and just whisper to yourself, even in emptiness, I am full. Even in stillness, I am alive. I am held. I am healing. Right? We get to remind ourselves of these things. So, like I said, dry fasting isn't just a physical break. It's a emotional detox, a spiritual cleanse, an energetic fast. And the more we really understand these concepts that I'm going to go over, not going to say the easier it will be, but the more you could see the whole fullness of everything that is going on within you. So when we actually remove food and water, we're removing dependency on the external and begin to access, internal reservoirs of clarity, strength, and divine intelligence from within. So think about this question, what am I truly hungry for? What deeper form of nourishment is my soul craving during this dry fast? Write these questions down and really, if you're one to journal, the next time you journal, think about those two questions. I'll say them again. What am I truly hungry for? And what deeper form of nourishment is my soul craving during this dry fast? Okay. So let's talk about nourishing the soul. I'm sorry. First, we'll talk about nourishing the mind, mental stillness, and more cognitive clarity, I'm going to call it. So, creating a inner sanctuary of thought. So, something that's very helpful of designating this time is to really do a mental cleanse, a decluttering of thought loops, worry, and inner noise. So thought loops are basically, the same thoughts that you think over and over again. It's like, I like to call it like the tape recorder of the mind. Is often not always the best thoughts, but if you're thinking the same thoughts and they're not nourishing, fulfilling thoughts, when you're dry fasting, you can really start to see the thoughts you're thinking and beginning the process of decluttering and letting go of those things during this time is very helpful and very powerful. It's important to really set boundaries, what I like to call sacred lines, on screen time, on conversations in general with people, and information overload. Yes, take in the information, in regards to this challenge, all the videos like this one we're putting out as it relates to what it is you're doing. But a lot of other information, it can become overloading to you. And that can actually be an energetic drain on you. And you're already not consuming food or water. So you can find yourself more energetically drained when you do those things. When you're on, your phone a lot or watching TV a lot or anything with the screen. When you're having conversations with people, it can be very draining. So be, very cognizant of that, because those things are very, very energetically draining. And use this time, and space to really retrain your thinking patterns. You're able to hear and see them more clearly, like I said, with the absence of food and water. So how do you start to actually just retrain your thinking pattern? Is first you see what the negative thought would be, and then you have to reframe it into a more nourishing thought. Okay. So basically, creating nourishing thoughts really raise the quality of your thinking and your life. So let me think of how to explain this. Observe your negative thought without judgment. Okay. When we notice, a heavy thought passing through, we can acknowledge its presence, and then we can replace it with a more nourishing and loving thought, meaning more, a more compassionate thought about ourselves, a thought that helps create more expansion within ourselves and less contraction. So first, think of the negative thought like, okay, what might happen if I allow this negative thought to continue? What might happen if I just keep having this thought loop, these negative thoughts to continue? Versus, let me reframe it to a nourishing thought. Nourishing thoughts are more life affirming. We always want to be able to affirm ourselves. They're more encouraging for us. They're more supportive. They're more compassionate. They're more inclusive. They're kind. So this helps you really get into your heart more. It helps you lead a more heart-centered life. Helps you, be more cognizant how you, speak to yourself, Because, a part of fasting, I see, it really can support you in becoming your own best friend, to really get to know yourself on a very deep, deep level. Okay. So those are some nourishing thoughts, ideas. Now, sitting in stillness. So a stillness meditation, this is another tip that's helpful. Just sitting in silence for say like 5 to 10 minutes. No, 10 sounds long, start with 5, observing your breath and the thoughts, no judgment, just noticing. This is what I was just saying. Okay. Being able to do that, daily. And of course, carry these different things when you're not dry fasting, practice them now, but things that really resonate and you like it, continue to do it beyond, the dry fasting time. Okay. When you sit in silence, you have more sight within. You could hear yourself. You could see your thoughts. no judgment, just noticing. And the more you do this, the better you become at it and the more helpful it is for you. Okay. Some more like energy reframing journals. So think about, what thoughts that you continue to have that are draining to you. They actually make you physically tired just thinking those thoughts. And you feel it again even more when you're dry fasting. But think about what thoughts are draining to you. And then also think about what thoughts that you have that are empowering to you. Because we're doing a lot of listening now. We're not distracted, by food, by water, by a lot of things. So all we can just do a lot of hearing. Someone even said that was one of their non-scale victories. They could actually hear themselves. So, an affirmation for the mind could be something like, my thoughts are spacious. My thoughts are expansive and rooted in truth. I made a post today just about how the body is confined by space, but the mind is often confined by perspective. You don't know what you don't know, but the more you learn and the more things that just kind of really resonate with you, they resonate and they're remembering, they're often rooted in truth. Like it just makes sense. It just aligns to who and how you are. This is the truth. This is how we all want to be living from, the truth that we know to be true. Okay. Another affirmation for the mind, if you're, wanting to add more affirmations is, I release mental clutter and receive more divine wisdom. Once you let go and clear out the thoughts and things that no longer serve you, this is where you can make space for the things that do. So when you release the mental clutter, you make space for the divine wisdom, the truth with the capital T, those things to come in. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to move on to nourishing the body. Okay. While we're dry fasting. So we're leaning into more physical renewal without the intake of anything. Okay. So we know that dry fasting is really a time of deep autophagy. This is the cellular recycling and repair. The body stops digesting and really starts regenerating. So we know this is what's going on in the body. So you're not feeding your body with food, but you can feed it with movement that stimulates your lymphatic system, that helps to support your detox and activates more flow in your body. Okay. You can do this by gentle yoga or slow stretching. So you want to just not, now, it's potential to get lightheaded. So when I'm saying this, it's not like flip upside down or do things like that where your head is lower than the rest of your body, because that can cause a lot of lightheadedness. But this is just slow stretching that will resonate with you, gentle yoga positions, but being able to feed your body with movement is very helpful. Also practicing body tapping. Okay. This stimulates your circulation and it kind of energetically awakens you, because we're energy, we're energetic beings. So just like literally just tapping on your body, this helps to stimulate your lymphatic system. These things like this, it seems super simple, but it's super helpful. And it is that simple and helpful. Okay. And then also grounding barefoot in nature. Okay. That I might've mentioned that on the last call, but either way, I'm going to say it again. Walking barefoot in nature, on grass, on dirt, sand, anything that's, of nature, not cement. That is a way to feed your body with movement. Okay. So go do one, if not all three of those things. And that'll be very, very helpful while you're dry fasting. Okay. Also with the body, being able to practice more self-compassion through rest. Okay, the body will want to slow down at some point during this process, if not the whole process. That is the body's wisdom. It's telling you we want to rest. It might not always be sleep. It's just rest, the stillness. If you're in a position to take a nap, lay in the sun, allow yourself to surrender to rest as a healing state. Don't feel like, man, it is like the middle of the day. I could be doing all these things, but I just feel to take 15 minutes. Then do it. It's okay. Give yourself a permission slip to do that. Your body is healing. So giving yourself those 15 minutes will be very, very helpful. Okay. Also, without water or food, the body still craves stimulation, so non-ingestive nourishment, if you will, would be something like dry brushing, okay, or self-massage. So for dry brushing, for those that may not know, is basically you can get a brush, like a skin brush, it would be called, and you basically dry brush your body in circular motions towards your heart. This also helps to stimulate your lymphatic system, which is helpful. That is what helps to detox you. Or, practicing self-massage, giving yourself a massage. Again, stimulate your lymphatic system. This is a way to sensory and energetic nourishment. That's a form of that, sensory and energetic nourishment. Also, wrapping yourself in warmth. For some people, based on, I guess, the season it is where you live, but also in general, you could start to feel cooler while you're fasting. And, being able to, say, wrap yourself in a soft blanket, or even light a candle, or put nourishing textures on you. All those things it helps bring a sense of comfort and warmth, which can be very helpful while you're dry fasting. Because sometimes people want to do that, with food. It's like, man, I'm feeling some kind of way. I need a comfort food to feel comfort. But no, we're not using food as a coping mechanism. Now or later, we're learning new coping mechanisms. And a coping mechanism can literally be wrapping yourself with warmth with a blanket, or even lighting a candle that provides that feeling of warmth. Okay. So for a mantra or an affirmation for the body, let's see, even in the absence of food and water, I am nourished by rest and rhythm. My body is intelligent and knows exactly how to heal. This is how we continue to affirm ourselves, all throughout this process. That's very important to do. If you're not doing it, please, please, please incorporate it now, and I'll continue to make, share some affirmations, or, of course, create your own too. But it's really important to affirm ourselves just regularly. Okay. So nourishing the soul now. Okay. This is, when we go deeper into ourselves spiritually, spiritual depth, and just really sacred presence, I want to call it. So, dry fasting is often called the fast of the prophets, meaning in the absence of, worldly substance, the soul truly opens fully to commune with the divine. And when I say that, whatever that resonates with you, but just like a higher power, or even the divine in you. Okay. So being able to, really enter a soul portal, being able to have a sacred space in your home, with things that are sacred to you that you can connect with. Okay. Being able to, a soul practice would be breathing prayers, where you inhale and you're saying, I am open. And then you exhale saying, I receive. Or you're inhaling, peace, and you're exhaling love. But just saying those things as you're connecting with your breath is it's a soul practice of sorts. Journaling prompts for your soul would be something like, what messages is my soul whispering in this quiet? What messages is my soul whispering in this quiet? What do I need to surrender? What do I need to let go of to become more connected with source? with the higher power, with higher consciousness, with the universe, with God, whatever word resonates with you. But what do I need to surrender to become more aligned with source? Okay. So spiritual listening, this is no speaking, right? Those were journaling prompts that I said. But spiritual listening is, no speaking, no asking. It's really just sitting. It's receiving guidance in stillness. And the more still you are, the more you actually will be able to hear. Okay. Also, looking at nature as soul medicine, y'all, really looking at nature as soul medicine. This is, like I mentioned before, walking barefoot on the earth in silence. If you've never done it, I would highly encourage you to do it, to try it out. Being outside, let sunlight, get on your skin. Go outside even at night, look at the moon and the stars, and feel yourself as a, greater part of the universal rhythm. This is how you connect with nature more, because we're all interconnected, whether you're conscious of it or not, we're all interconnected. So being able to look at nature as a form of soul medicine for you while you're dry fasting, and of course beyond, very, very powerful. Soul affirmations. Okay. Affirmations for your soul could be, even without, I have everything I need within. Yeah, that's a good one. Even without, I have everything I need within. I am sustained by spirit. This fast is like a sacred dance between, emptiness and abundance. It's all how you look at it. It's all how you look at it. So, I think it will be helpful. Okay. So let me give the call to action, because I always like to do that. Create, this week, a dry fasting nourishment ritual plan. That's long, but a dry fasting, nourishment ritual plan. I just like how that sounds. But so basically, morning, noon, and evening, because all these things are helpful all throughout the day, but in the morning, maybe you're, saying some of the affirmations and journaling, for your mind, nourishing the mind. You decide to do a little bit of stretching, for your body. You inhale, some essential oils, aromatherapy, for your soul, you're practicing, the breathing prayer I said, or practicing gratitude. Maybe midday you do some, visualization of the mind. Maybe you take a nap or take a nature walk for your body. You practice that silent listening for your soul, where you just sit in silence and receive the guidance as it comes to you. In the evening, you practice, for your mind, just some reflection on the day, how the day went. Your body for the evening, maybe do a little bit of self massage then in the evening as you're winding down, or some of the tapping on your body. And then for your soul, maybe just kind of lighting a candle and feeling connected with the warmth of the candle, right? So basically being able to, nourish your mind, your body, and soul in these different ways that I mentioned. And of course, you don't have to do all these every day or all 3 times a day, but if you need it, then do it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm offering all this stuff. So definitely take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But yeah, all this will basically be extremely helpful. And just, for us to reflect back, think about, what, in this process, or even you could think about this from your last dry fast of the 4 days, what are you truly fasting from? You know, food or fear? You know, maybe fear of, you know, what life would be like if you didn't take this journey into your health and wellness, or, you know, the fear of, you know, not really knowing yourself. A lot can come up with fear, but, you know, are you fasting from, you know, distraction? Like what are you truly fasting from? Just really think about it. You fasting from, you know, the density and the heaviness that life and food and thoughts and all these things can bring on you. And also think about, what part of me shed, I was going to say died, that sounds kind of harsh, but you know, what part of me shed, what part of myself did I shed in this last fast? And what part of me was reborn or is being reborn? You know, we shed layers of weight, of, you know, mental, emotional weight, turmoil, all these things through our fasting. But we also shed our old selves, you know, and we become new versions of ourselves, different versions of ourselves. And that is all part of the letting go. So think about, you know, the frequency, the energy of the new person you are carrying into the world now and in the future. Like really lean into that, be able to embody that, you know, and know that, you know, you are whole, you are held, you know, even in stillness, you are expanding, you know, even in, you know, emptiness of no food, no water, you're still being filled. You know, you're still being filled in all these other ways, and just continue to tell yourself that, you know, you are deeply nourished in every cell, in every thought, in every breath, all those different ways. Okay. Okay, so that was the lesson, or just share. So let's see. Let me know what questions you guys have about it, or please feel free to share. What was your biggest takeaway? What you're going to start incorporating, or you already have? A lot more people jumped on. I love it. After our curtain session. Okay, awesome. All right, let's see. Talking drains energy. Yes, it really does. It really does. And void people. Yeah, energy vampires are real. You know, we get to protect, you know, ourselves as much and as best as we need to. Grounding, Yaki. Okay, Yakika Waking has a lymphatic drainage routine. Okay, thank you. So we get to look that up. Maybe type in his name and lymphatic drainage routine, and we can all find that. Say that again. Oh no, what did I say? Affirmation for body one more time. Okay, man. So some of this stuff, I allow it to just come to me in the moment. So I'm glad this is recorded, because some of the things, let's see, what did I say about the body affirmation? Okay, what did I say? Maybe in the absence of food and water, I am nourished by rest and rhythm. Maybe my body is intelligent and knows exactly how to heal. Oh, okay. In the absence of food and water. Yeah. Okay. So basically, yeah, in the absence of food and water, I am nourished by rest and rhythm. Yeah, I am nourished by rest and rhythm. Okay. So that's for gorgeous. Okay. I started exercising and walking to provide comfort. I just started beginning of March. Okay. You definitely feel it when you just look around at the birds and trees. Yeah, nature. Coming in late. You're welcome. Okay, you'll rewind it. Okay, yeah. So even without, I am sustained within. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, so does anyone have any questions as it relates to this? or want to share what else they've been doing. I'm not going to make this, a long session. All the jazzisms. Thank you guys for reading. Thank you for being here. Thank you just for showing up for yourself. As the challenge goes on, the number of active participants definitely dwindles, more and more. But you guys are here, showing up. The cream rises to the top. So the best of the best. You guys are locked and loaded. You are doing it. In whatever version you were doing it in, you're still showing up. And that's a beautiful thing. So thank you for investing in yourself and seeing through the whole investment experience. Okay. Never want to, not mention that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, definitely rewatch, take notes, you guys, on the different affirmations, because some I thought of beforehand, some in the moment, and that's just kind of how it is. But rewatch. Deep sound bath today. Ooh, love a sound bath. Yes, the pain, releasing pain from the body. Yeah. A lot of times the cause of chronic pain is unhealed emotions. Some people have like very deep chronic pain. They're taking medications, they're doing all the stuff. But the truth of the matter is they have so many unhealed emotions that are just buried inside of them. And that is what's causing the chronic pain. So if you feel that could potentially be you, really start to allow these emotions to come up. They will just through dry fasting, but we have to look at emotions as seeds. They are like in us. And through this process, they sprout and come up. And what you don't want to do is push them back down, because true healing comes through feeling. You have to feel it to heal it, no matter how uncomfortable the feeling is. And oftentimes it's uncomfortable, but you have to do it because this is how you get to the other side. This is how you cross the bridge, if you will. Okay. So, we have to release, not suppress. Okay. All these little things I'm saying, like I try to make them short and to the point so you can remember them easier, but super helpful. Okay. A lot of emotions. Yeah. So, voice note yourself about them, journal about them, journal and release, write and burn. You know what I mean? Like release it, throw it away, maybe burn it with fire. However, because a lot of times when you write down like things you're releasing, negative things come up, you don't want to reread that, right? You don't want to like reabsorb all these emotions that have come up. So it's okay to let it go and throw it away or burn it or rip it up, go through like that physical act of letting go. That's actually really helpful. Okay. So engage in the process of becoming healthier and lighter. I love it. Yes. Stay locked in. All these, the good feelings, all these things that are coming up, you guys, the more you carry these things with you after the dry fasting, the more you can make this a sustainable lifestyle, right? Like all these tips I shared, don't look at them like I only do this while I'm dry fasting or water fasting or, fasting. I mean, you'll always live a fasted focused lifestyle, but incorporate all these different things as a daily part of your life. Let it become who and how you are, because the goal here is to get these new habits on autopilot. So you don't have to think about them. It's who and how you are. You don't have to think about it. Okay. I'm not an emotional warrior, grateful in the moment. It's awesome. All right, y'all. Keeping it short and sweet. I'm going to see you guys in the Mighty Network. If you have like a specific question about something unrelated to this, please just, feel free to just inbox me on Mighty Networks. I'll be happy to support you. And thank you for being here. Okay. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.